Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well because we are in for a treat today. Next up on our list is Shark Huntress. I'd never seen or heard of this movie at the time of watching it and writing the script, but the beginning has flyover scenes and what is supposed to be the Micronesians, I believe. It's really nice and beautiful, and I approve of the first 2 minutes at least. But then the shark attack happens. There's a woman swimming out from the shore on a beach. She looked happy, peaceful, relaxed. And then the second fakest shark I've ever seen comes up and attacks her. The only shark that's ever looked worse than this one is from a movie called Ouija Shark, and I'm pretty sure they used a hand puppet. And I have a feeling that film was a college project, so I don't feel like I have a right to shit on it too much. In this opening scene, it's less of an attack and more like a sneak peek. She gets bitten and her scream is cut off halfway. Like, you don't even see the whole scene. She's just like, ah! And then mid-screen, it changes to another scene. If the rest of this movie is going to be like my first impression after the flyover, then I have a feeling I'll be pretty disappointed. Spoilers, I was. I will say, for commentary's sake, that she was in the ocean all by herself. I think we all know by now when that's not a good idea, but just in case this is your first video, you should never go into the ocean by yourself. Swimming solo just means you'll be easy pickings. In the next scene, a different female character wakes up in a bed and calls her mother. It goes to voicemail and she asks for her mother to call her back and that she had a nightmare. You see a framed photo of this girl and the woman from the beginning. At this point, we can only assume that the woman that died was her mother. RIP. Cute doggo serotonin boost. Main character gets a call. She learns that her mother has died. We don't really hear the other end of the conversation. The only problem I really have with this scene is how unfazed she looks. If you're going to call your mother because you had a nightmare, you have to have some kind of strong bond with her, right? I know everyone processes grief in different ways, but she acted like somebody told her the football game just got canceled. What is this acting? And that's going to be the main question for the entire video. She heads back home, wherever that is, and runs into someone that looks like one of the guys from ZZ Top. His name is Guru. How creative. On the way home, he tells her that her mother had been acting strange before the incident. We still have no idea who any of these people are at this point. We learn that she was seeing a scientist guy, and he was also missing. The scientist guy is Dr. Mitchell Linenrose, but he has no address. That's not suspicious at all. And as it turns out, she had a secret lab that everyone knew about, but it was in a secret location. In the next scene, we get introduced to Palm, who reminds me of one of those really privileged influencers who travels around and they try too hard to be happy in every single video. Hey guys, oh my god, look at this. Look where I am. Isn't it so great? Like that. And it's really annoying. She annoys me. She's with her friend Dean, and they give us a message about ocean pollution. I can appreciate them putting this dialogue in the movie because it's an important conversation. Without a healthy ocean, our planet is doomed. That can include anything from plastics in the ocean, overfishing, and oil spills, and there's so much more that can directly and indirectly impact our oceans. We have a lot of work to do. We learn from the captions, by the way, that the main character's name is Sheila. She is friends with Palm, Dean, and some white dude. In this scene, we found out that Sheila doesn't know her mom is dead. They think she's just missing. That'll explain her lack of emotion from the earlier scene. They head out on a boat, and the scene ends with a shot of dirty plastic in the water. I hope they didn't just leave it there. More shots of them on the boat acting like absolute tourists, taking pictures. The actress that plays Palm is a really bad actor. And during this part, it seemed like they were having some bad sound issues that they didn't bother to fix in post-production. You don't learn much from this scene besides the fact that Sheila's friends also viewed the woman that died earlier as their mothers as well, so they're all worried for her. Except Palm, she's just acting like this is a vacation getaway. She seems like a very empathetic person. We finally have some more action from the shark. It seems to be sneaking up on a woman in a kayak in extremely turbid water. This is also an element you need to look out for when going into the ocean. Turbidity is defined by how cloudy the water is. The higher the turbidity, the lower the visibility is. The woman sees the shark's dorsal fin. Cue a fake scream. She tries to kayak quickly away from it, but in her panic, she just flips the kayak over like the goof she is. She fights to get up on the overturned kayak, but the shark bites her and pulls her down. In the next shot, we see Guru leading Sheila to her mother's house. He tells her to stay here until she shows up. He then tells her he looked for clues to figure out where she might have gone, but he had no success. He hopes that she'll be able to find some. The currently nameless white guy friend learns from a barkeep that there was an accident involving a woman and a great white shark the day before. He takes that information over to his friends. Well, at least one of them is intelligent. They don't believe him at first because great whites weren't known to travel to that region. Sheila wants to go to the police station to try and ID her, but Guru says that the police are in the mainland, so they have to wait a day to take the ferry. Guru and Sheila go somewhere to look at the body. It doesn't say if it's the police station or a hospital, but they approach a woman at the entrance and ask to see her. We'll learn that the body was moved to a private room because there have been several more victims that have died by a shark attack. Guru asks about the possibility of it being a great white. The scientist lady, I'm assuming she's some sort of doctor or scientist because she has a trademark lab coat on, tells them the bite radius matched and they found a tooth that could only belong to a great white. Guru muses on the fact that the rising temperatures have been making the sharks migrate to unusual places, and pollution is mentioned again. I have a feeling this movie is going to be one of those that try to make a climate change message hit home, but somehow never really get there to make an impact. You see the body, and Sheila has a rather subdued emotional reaction. She begins crying and looks to Guru to comfort her. If I found out that my mom was no longer there and she died in like some freak accident, I'd do more than sniffle a few times and make a sad face. This movie is slowly sucking out my soul. Anyway, Guru says it's the plastic people. When the lab coat asks him what he means, he brushes it off. The mother's name was Amanda Williams. Sheila asks for a moment with her mother and promises to avenge her and hunt down the shark. I don't recall if I spoke about this in my Jaws review, but that movie scared people so much that they went shark hunting. This is what wiped out most of the sharks, and its impact still lingers even to today. Whatever your reason for disliking sharks, don't do this. Sharks don't pick specific people to munch on. You are in their home, their territory, and if you or someone you happen to care for ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time, there's really nothing you can do. Every time you step into the ocean, you accept the possibility that you might run into a shark, or a jellyfish, or a squid, or any other animals that might happen upon you and hurt you or kill you. Nothing you do will ever make it right, so just be aware of this responsibility you have when you go into the ocean. Amanda is cremated and they dump her remains into the ocean at the edge of the shore. Not many people know this, but that's actually illegal. This also counts as pollution, that they didn't bother looking that up when they were writing for this movie. But as long as you go further offshore, at least 3 nautical miles or more, you can spread them in the ocean. Sheila puts on a better performance here, so her acting skill is slightly better than a dead rock. How nice. They sit by the beach after nightfall at a bonfire, and we have to sit through Guru talking awkwardly about his first meeting with Amanda. And kind of just improv'd his way through the entire movie. Is not good at all. Nameless white guy does the same thing. Sheila walks off and Dean joins her. He obviously has a thing for her. Apparently they had relations before, which is kind of funny because they have zero chemistry with each other. So Sheila mentions her new mission. Dean argues that the shark she wants to hunt is just a shark doing sharky things. She claims to be an animal lover, but if she had the chance, she would take a tart and roast it over a fire. Yeah, you sound like you really love animals. There's a sudden cut to the gang sitting inside Amanda's house, talking about plastic use and waste. I'm pretty sure they just made this movie to talk about this topic. As I said before, it's not a bad thing, but maybe don't use a shark thriller as an excuse to talk about something relevant and extremely important. We finally learn about the work that Amanda was doing before she died. She, too, was finding a way to reduce plastic pollution in the ocean. By the way Guru was talking about her in the beginning, it seemed like she was working on some dangerous and mysterious project. Like stuff that the government can't know about. That's one way to try and keep the audience interested, I guess. They go to a diving shop, and the lighting between the camera shots is really odd. I'm not sure what they were trying to do with the scene aesthetically, but I don't like it. This is where she buys a harpoon, maybe? I think they called it a spear gun later on. I'm not quite sure what this is at this point, but I'm assuming it's a weapon to take down the shark. They also show the man ringing it up and signing a receipt. Why didn't they edit this out? Were they that desperate to fill up time that they thought this tidbit was necessary? The cashier watches them suspiciously and calls someone to tell them about her and Dean. There's an hour left in this movie. I'm betting this won't really go anywhere. I was proven wrong, but I wouldn't have been surprised if it was never mentioned again. Sheila ends up getting diving lessons on the down low. She wants to keep this hunt a secret from everyone but her friends. Guru tells them to be careful of the underwater sea aliens. The only problem I have with this is humans actually came from the ocean. At some point before life on land began for us, we crawled out of the ocean and haven't turned back. In my extremely biased opinion, I'd say we are the aliens. In the next scene, she's finishing up her certification. She starts to have visions of her mother dying in the ocean, takes out her rebreather, takes off her goggles, and just sits on the bottom of the pool having some sort of breakdown. I don't understand the point of this. If she was having some kind of panic attack from her visions, why didn't she just go up to the surface? What was the thought process here? The guy from the dive shop comes around looking smug, and Dean asks why he didn't help out. He gives some snide remark and Dean punches him. Even direct conflict between people is boring in this movie. The next 2 minutes, they just show the team walking on the beach and talking. They really wanted to extend this film. Guru talks to some guy cleaning up the beach and thanks him. The conversation is badly rehearsed and is kind of painful. It reminds me of those cringy commercials from the 90s where it was kind of obvious they just looked at the script once or twice and it didn't bother to work on their acting skills. The guy goes out to the water to get more of the plastic, and they show shots of a shark from underneath, but it's obviously fake. It's like they just pushed a float through the water. The tail wasn't moving at all, and even as the shark attacked the man, it growled. Again, for the third time now, sharks don't do this. Fish don't have vocal cords. Why is that so hard to understand? The guy ends up dead on the beach, and Guru finds him. It looks like they just tore his shirt in some places and painted his shirt red. Gonna have to give the visual effects of this movie a 0. I'm not even gonna go into this weird conspiracy theory about the plastic people. It's a really stupid part of the plot, and it's insulting to anyone with a functional brain. Sheila is also sick of his shit. More drunken rambling from Guru. Says he knows where the lab is. Sheila gets mad at him and shoves him. He passes out. We finally find out where the lab is. A place called Emerald Lagoon. It's in international waters. Oh, and now we learn the name of the white guy, Luca. It only took them 49 minutes in a 1 hour and 22-minute movie. They go to the lab, and Guru says it's where Amanda spent a lot of time with him. Dr. Lindenrose, I'm assuming. I'm going to be honest, I completely forgot about him. The doctor makes an appearance, and he claims what happened to Amanda was because of them. The plastic people. He insinuates that they put the great white in the water to kill Amanda because of her work on lessening plastic use. Guru looks out the window, and he sees the dorsal fin of our shark. He screams, "Shark!" Like they're in danger. No one's in the water, so I don't get why he had to be so damn dramatic. He says it's a great white shark and educates them on the coloration of the shark because they blend in from above and below, which is true, but nobody really cares at this point. Despite knowing that the shark was put there intentionally, they still want to kill the shark. The amount of times the shark has attacked people is not realistic, unless there's absolutely no other fish in the water. A shark won't attack you just because it sees you. There's a limit to how much it will eat, and if it is able to recognize human, it would know that they aren't very tasty. Why couldn't they just contact an organization that works in conservation and have them transport the shark back out to where it belongs? Although nothing about this movie makes sense, so I guess just mindlessly killing a shark for revenge would work in this world. There's about 20 minutes of this movie left, and I just want it to be over. Luca decides he's going to take a swim and look for the seaweed Amanda was growing for her project. So they just see a shark in the water. That shark has killed like 3 people, and he's still going in the water anyway. I take back what I said before. No sign of intelligence between anyone in this little group. To their surprise of no fucking body, Luca gets taken away by the shark. Dean is in shock because he saw everything and even tried to save him. Sheila renews her motivation to kill it, and Palm reminds her that they're on a mission to protect nature. Sheila stomps away like the little toddler she is. Later that night, Sheila sneaks away with a stake and the harpoon gun / spear gun. With less than 20 minutes left, it's time for her to get her revenge. She dips the harpoon in the poisonous mushrooms that are outside of the bungalow. She throws the snake into the water and goes about knee-high, preparing the harpoon gun. She's about to shoot the shark when Dean calls for her and drags her out. He calls her stupid, and I've never felt so valid in my life. The next day, Guru is murdered. How sad. Can you tell how much I liked him? How torn up I am about this? All they found was a sandal. Dean claims it wasn't a shark and that his body was too far to get back. How does he know? How does he even know that? I don't even think he saw the murder. His body was just out there and he assumed it was someone else. Whatever. Someone wanted it to look like a shark attack. They think it was Lynn and Rose. Sheila plans to shoot him with a harpoon gun and then feed him to the shark. It's starting to sound like she's got a lot more issues than just missing her dead mother. Lynn and Rose surprises everyone in the bungalow and traps Dean and Sheila on the dock. He tries to make her sign away the lagoon in exchange for her life, as it belonged to Sheila now that her mother was dead. She asks for a pin, and when his defense is down, she stabs him in the neck with it before he is thrown into the sea. He is then immediately devoured by the shark. They watch with a sense of detachment. The rank is F. All across the board. Bad editing, bad plot, bad writing, bad effects, and just a bad idea all around. Now, I realize that actual people made this movie. Maybe someone had money to waste and they decided to get their friend to make a movie for fun. That's fine. People do that all the time. Maybe it's for a college project. Also fine. But it just wasn't any good. I wouldn't have been mad about this movie if it was also entertaining. There are movies like The Room that are really bad, but you can still enjoy them. There's a nice handful of Nicolas Cage movies that are really bad, but like you can still laugh at them, and if you have to sit there for an hour and a half and watch a bad movie that's still funny and entertaining, then it's not really a problem. Unfortunately, this is not one of those movies. I'm glad they seem to care about the environment so much, but there are better ways to do that. I don't know, write a research paper next time that's free of charge and it doesn't suck my soul out of my face. So, I guess that's all I really have to say about this movie. It was free with Amazon Prime, so I guess I'm not like super mad about it, and I'm the one that chose to watch it. If you want to waste an hour and 20-ish minutes of your life and you have Prime, go and watch it. But I'd say don't pay for this movie because it's not worth it. Thank you for sticking around and watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.